The lies come out.
Classic.
But there were so many of them.
Meghan Markle never thought in a million years that she would provide proof of her real age.
And Link, it's just such bad news because all of a sudden, this birthday, this 45th birthday, has turned into an absolute disaster.
Speculating on that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually older?
The moment Meghan Markle's 45th birthday was celebrated, something didn't just feel off. It detonated a quiet, buried contradiction that refuses to stay buried. The palace said 45, the press echoed 45. But Tom Bower, Samantha Markle, and a single printed page from March 1997 are all pointing in a completely different direction. And not by a small margin either. A 6-year gap. 6 years that don't just shift a number, they threaten to destabilize a carefully constructed timeline, a public identity, and possibly even legal foundations tied to marriage, titles, and legacy. And what makes this explosive is not gossip, not speculation, but ink on paper, sitting in archives, waiting for someone to connect the dots. It begins with something deceptively ordinary. A lifestyle feature in 17 magazine, March 1997, page 90. Among a group of young women from Los Angeles appears a name, Meghan Markle, and beside it, an age, 21. Simple, clean, printed, distributed nationwide. But that one number collides violently with the official narrative. Because if Meghan Markle was truly born on August 4th, 1981, as repeated for decades, then in March 1997 she would have been 15, not 21. That is not a minor discrepancy. That is a 6-year fracture in a timeline that was supposed to be airtight. And suddenly, the question is no longer whether there's an error, it's where the truth actually sits. Now, yes, people rush to the easiest explanation. Typo. Magazines make mistakes. But everything else aligns too perfectly for comfort. The name matches. The location matches. The photograph matches Meghan Markle from Los Angeles, California. The only thing that doesn't match is the official birth year. And that's where the unease begins to grow. Because this isn't a blurry screenshot circulating online. This is a physical magazine that sat on shelves across America. In a world where royal records depend on absolute consistency, one printed line has just cracked open a possibility no one wants to fully confront. And the implications spiral fast. Because age isn't just a number in this context, it intersects with biology, timelines, credibility. If Meghan Markle were 4 years older than stated, pushing closer to 50 rather than mid-40s, it complicates narratives about pregnancies, especially when layered with whispers from her own family about hysterectomy stories. Suddenly, what seemed like background noise starts aligning into a pattern that's harder to dismiss. One inconsistency invites another, and another. Then, Tom Bower steps in, not a casual commentator, not a social media voice, but one of Britain's most feared investigative biographers. This is the man who dismantled Robert Maxwell, who scrutinized Prince Charles himself. And when he looked at Meghan Markle, he didn't find a single loose thread. He found a pattern. His research reportedly uncovered that Meghan's IMDb profile, her professional acting record, originally listed her birth year as 1977, not 1981. That change wasn't announced. It wasn't explained. It just shifted. Quietly, and according to Bower, the screenshots exist. And then, the investigation deepens into Northwestern University. Officially, Meghan graduated in 2003 at age 22, a perfect, clean timeline. But Bower didn't stop at official records. He tracked classmates, studied alumni directories, examined group photos, including one from the university's salsa club. In that photo, Meghan stands among students who, when contacted, consistently reported birth years in the early 1970s, not the early 1980s. That creates a stark contradiction. Either Meghan Markle, at 20, exclusively socialized with peers nearly a decade older, or she was their age all along. And one anonymous classmate reportedly said it plainly, "We all knew Meghan was older than she claimed." That statement doesn't sit quietly. It echoes. Because if age was misrepresented there, where else was it adjusted? And why is something as simple as a birth certificate surrounded by silence, hesitation, and contradictions? That silence grows louder when Tom Bower reportedly asked Thomas Markle a direct question. What year was Meghan born? And instead of a clear answer, there was hesitation. Not confirmation, not denial, just a pause that speaks volumes. And then the timeline starts to fracture in unexpected places. Meghan's widely repeated story about writing to Procter & Gamble at age 11 to challenge a dish soap commercial told at the United Nations, repeated at South by Southwest, faces subtle inconsistencies. The original Nick News footage from 1993 reportedly describes her as 12, not 11. And Vanity Fair removed the anecdote entirely from its 2017 cover story after fact-checking concerns. One detail shifts, then another, and suddenly even the most celebrated origin stories begin to wobble. Then comes the frozen yogurt shop story. Meghan has said she worked at Humphrey Yogurt at 13, a humble beginning repeated in interviews, including with Oprah. But former management reportedly stated they never employed anyone that young. And the deeper contradiction lies in a single moment from that story, a chance encounter in a parking lot with Baywatch star Yasmin Bleeth. Meghan claims she complimented Bleeth on a Soft and Dree deodorant commercial. It sounds innocent, even charming until timelines collide again. Those commercials aired in the late 1990s, around 1997 or 1998. If Meghan was 13 in 1994, as her official birth year suggests, that commercial didn't exist yet. So how does a 13-year-old reference a commercial 3 years before it aired? One inconsistency can be dismissed, two raise suspicion. But now the pattern is forming, and each piece reinforces the next. And watching all of this unfold from the sidelines for decades has been Samantha Markle. Dismissed, ridiculed, labeled as bitter, yet her claims are now aligning with emerging evidence. Even Tom Bauer reportedly admitted that what Samantha said, once laughed off, is increasingly proving accurate. And that is where the tension sharpens. Because when dismissed voices start matching documented contradictions, the narrative doesn't just weaken, it begins to collapse inward. And if the foundation of Meghan Markle's timeline is unstable, then everything built on top of it, every title, every document, every deal, suddenly sits on uncertain ground. And the deeper you look, the more it feels like this isn't just about age anymore. It's about something much bigger that's still hiding just beneath the surface. The next crack in the story comes not from a tabloid headline, but from Meghan Markle's own words in a legal document. Samantha Markle's birth year has long been public record November 1964. According to the official story, Meghan Markle was born in August 1981, creating roughly a 17-year gap between the sisters. That enormous age difference has always been used to explain why Samantha Markle was practically an adult while Meghan was still a child. It sounded neat, believable, and complete. But then an email surfaced during legal proceedings that quietly dismantled that timeline from the inside. In 2018, Meghan prepared briefing notes for former Communications Secretary Jason Nauf before material intended for the authors of Finding Freedom. Those notes later emerged through the Court of Appeal, and hidden inside them was one sentence that suddenly made every previous calculation look unstable. Meghan herself wrote that when Doria left Thomas Markle, Meghan was 2 years old and Thomas's other children were 15 and 17. Stop and calculate that. If Samantha Markle was 15 while Meghan was 2, that creates a 13-year gap, not 17. Add 13 years to Samantha Markle's documented 1964 birth year, and the result is 1977, not 1981. Suddenly, it isn't Tom Bauer making the calculation or Samantha Markle making the accusation. It is Meghan Markle's own description, creating a timeline that appears to contradict her official birth year. That contradiction becomes even more unsettling because Samantha Markle's own book still lists Meghan's birth year as 1981, although with the slightly incorrect birthday of August 31 instead of August 4. Yet Samantha Markle has repeatedly insisted publicly that the age difference between them was never as large as the public was led to believe. For years, critics dismissed those statements as bitterness or revenge. But now those family recollections appear to overlap with Meghan's own legal correspondence. One forgotten magazine might be questioned. One changed IMDb page might be explained away. But when family memories, court documents, and investigative research begin pointing toward the same alternate timeline, the coincidence becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. Then another seemingly harmless childhood memory enters the spotlight. During a 2013 interview with Larry King, Meghan fondly recalled her first kiss at a summer theater camp in Los Angeles. The boy was Joshua Silverstein, who later confirmed the story publicly and told Inside Edition they met around 1993 or 1994. At first glance, nothing appears unusual, but investigators once again began comparing timelines. IMDb reportedly lists Joshua Silverstein's birth year as 1980, which comfortably fits Meghan's official biography. However, several celebrity biography websites reportedly identify his birth year as 1977 instead. And conspiracy theories later claimed that information had quietly changed after online discussions intensified. Nobody has definitively established which year is correct. Yet if Joshua Silverstein truly belonged to the 1977 timeline and Meghan described them as the same age during camp, then another unexpected connection appears. On its own, it proves nothing. Placed beside every previous discrepancy, it becomes another puzzle piece people cannot stop examining. Then the investigation moves away from memories and into official royal paperwork. When Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born in May 2019, his birth certificate followed normal procedure. It identified the mother by her legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle. Everything appeared standard until weeks later, that document was quietly amended. Meghan's first and middle names disappeared entirely, replaced only with Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Palace officials explained it as consistency with royal protocol. Yet insiders reportedly struggled to recall another comparable example involving Catherine, Diana, or previous royal mothers. Tom Bower reportedly proposed a far more controversial explanation. If the same legal name appears consistently across school records, passports, marriage certificates, university documents, and birth certificates, investigators can compare every record with remarkable ease. Remove that legal name from one crucial document, and following the paper trail suddenly becomes significantly more difficult. Whether or not that interpretation is correct, the amendment itself became another question rather than another answer. From there, the story shifts toward motive. If someone altered a birth year, why would they risk doing so? According to the source, the explanation offered is brutally simple. Hollywood rewards youth. Casting professionals have long argued that actresses lose opportunities as they age, particularly before becoming established stars. Meghan Markle spent years taking brief television appearances, working on Deal or No Deal in 2006, maintaining a lifestyle blog, and pursuing acting opportunities before finally landing the breakthrough role of Rachel Zane in Suits during 2011. If the official timeline is accurate, she entered that role around age 30. But under the alternate timeline, discussed throughout the investigation, she would have been considerably older. In an entertainment industry driven by perception, even a few years can influence casting decisions. According to the narrative presented in the source, what might begin as a Hollywood strategy becomes something entirely different once the same personal information appears on royal biographies, official paperwork, and internationally scrutinized legal records. The final escalation reaches beyond reputation and into consequences. The source claims that if false age information had ever appeared on marriage documentation, legal questions could theoretically follow, potentially affecting the marriage itself, children's titles, succession issues, and even commercial agreements with partners including Netflix and Spotify. It further states that Meghan has remained publicly silent regarding these specific allegations, without releasing a birth certificate or directly addressing the claims discussed throughout the narrative. Meanwhile, Thomas Markle, Samantha Markle, and Thomas Markle Jr. are portrayed as the three people who should know the definitive answer, yet according to the source, none has publicly settled the matter in a way that ends the speculation. And that is where the story deliberately refuses to close. One forgotten magazine page, one altered professional profile, one courtroom email, one amended royal birth certificate. Each clue, standing alone, remains disputed. Together, they form the mystery presented throughout the document. Meghan Markle has just celebrated 45 or perhaps, according to the allegations explored here, something very different. Until definitive evidence emerges, the unanswered question continues to overshadow every timeline, every document, and every silence, leaving the controversy suspended rather than resolved.